Shalom Yasharala Shalom. Kala Layamla, Allah Hayanawa, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashai, Bahashem, Rakaha, Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach well and rule well, who taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akim, the fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth at risk of their own lives throughout the four corners of the earth. To the Aquath listening, the Aquathium, listening and learning in sincerity and in truth and in silence. Shalom. It's your brother Shema from the Pillars of Benjamin Camp here in Toronto with another lesson. And we'll get right into it. This FedEx thing, right? This FedEx news article came out on News Target. September 8th, 2022, the year of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai turning up, right? And the title here says, FedEx ground delivery on verge of collapse as rising costs threaten to bankrupt contractors, right? FedEx is big company. Before I started the lesson, I looked into their net worth, FedEx net worth. And it says here, this is released on macrotrends.net. FedEx net worth as of September 2nd, 2022. Right, this was last week. 6 days ago. As of 6 days ago, FedEx net worth is worth $54.25 billion. Right, big company, man. $54.25 billion. It's big money. FedEx Corporation is a leader in global express delivery services. The company provides a broad portfolio of transportation, e-commerce, and business services through companies competing collectively, operating independently, and managed collaboratively under the FedEx brand. Right, and what's FedEx model? They hire subcontractors, independent contractors, subcontractors. That way they avoid, when in business you have a subcontractor, you avoid their health benefits, you avoid their deductions from their pay. That all falls on the contractor. Right, you avoid their commercial insurance. Right, you avoid the cost of fuel. That all falls onto the contractor. You pay you pay a agreed upon rate between you and the contractor, and they run with it. They manage the business. They manage the payroll. The contractor manages the business, the payroll, their health deductions, health benefit deductions, the commercial insurance, all of that. They need a repair. The contractor deals with that repair. This is FedEx's business model, man. Let's read. I'll leave out this right here, right? Because News Target is a truther website, independent website. We'll just start from here. Inflation is getting so bad, it is about to ruin one of the nation's largest package delivery companies, FedEx. As reported by the UK's Daily Mail this week, the company's ground delivery system is about to collapse because the local contractors relied upon to take up most of the slack are facing costs so high they are on the verge of bankruptcy. And worse, there are no signs that their rates of compensation are going to increase anytime soon. In addition to rising labor shortages and costs, contractors' fleets have had to deal with a near doubling in diesel fuel and other transport costs thanks to you see it there, war on the fossil fuel industry. And while prices for gas and diesel have come down a bit recently, thanks to an OPEC production cut that is about to kick in, those prices are going to go right back up, right? Because the prices came down temporarily, right? It's a sleight of hand. It's a calculative move by these ruling class elites, right? Because these midterms are coming up in November. So yeah, bring the lower the cost of fuel temporarily, and as soon as we have our results on the midterm, as soon as the ballots are in, rise it back right back up, man. Right? They're gonna go full steam ahead once these midterms out of the way, man. The FedEx ground network relies upon local delivery companies to make the package and parcel drop-offs on behalf of the $54 billion multinational conglomerate, right? We just read their value there, right? 54 billion multinational conglomerate, the outlet reported. But now one of the largest delivery contractors is warning that the entire system is on the brink of falling apart, with local workers unable to absorb any more rising costs, right? Because there's only so much these contractors could absorb, man. Spencer Patton, the head of Root Consultant, an industry group, noted the FedEx ground network is in far more peril than what anyone realizes. If Wall Street analysts, if FedEx corporate and FedEx ground understood the degree to which the network is in danger, there would be widespread panic, right? This is just the beginning, man. The Daily Mail explains FedEx ground works by utilizing the services of around 6,000 small businesses that are under contract with the company in order to make doorstep deliveries. Patton, who controls a fleet of 275 delivery trucks and has 225 employees across 10 states on his books, is looking for a raise of 50 cents per stop for delivery contractors and a 20-cent increase for long haul trucking contractors by the end of November 25th, the start of the holiday shipping season. Patton was hoping to negotiate directly with FedEx Ground and had set up a 10-member committee in the hope of focusing their attention. He went on to say that he's not trying to establish a union, though what he is attempting to set up looks like one. FedEx Ground has no network without contractors, and we have no network without FedEx. So we are inextricably linked here together in our mutual destiny, he told Insider. Right, I'm not going to read any more on that. Right. So the cost of doing business. The cost of doing business. Let's get a scripture. Let's go to Isaiah 19. Let's start at verse. Let's start at verse Isaiah 19, verse 7. The paper reads by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither, be driven away, and be no more, right? By the brooks, bodies of water, right? Everything sown by bodies of water, right, are withering away, man. This is happening in America the Great, Babylon the Great. We're seeing our creeks dry up, rivers dry up, dam levels lower. Verse 8, the fishers also shall mourn, and all they that cast angle into the brook shall lament, and they that spread nets upon the water shall languish, right? The fishermen, the food supply, these fishers, those in the fishing industry, right? Catching salmon and trout and lawful fish, you know, those that catch the unlawful foods, the crabs and the shrimp and the lobster. These fishers, these fishing industries, they're mourning, they're lamenting, languish, suffer. They're suffering, not making ends meet. Verse 9, and this is the state of America the Great, Babylon the Great. Verse 9, moreover, they that work in the fine flax and they that weave networks shall be confounded. Right, fine flax. That's clothing. Let's look at that. Let's look at flax in the Hebrew. Flax.
Strong's H6593. Pishtay. Pishtay.
Pishtay in the Hebrew. Flax, linen, fiber used as material for garments, right? Clothing, material, right? What is this going to? Listen, there's a shortage on everything, man. You know what I mean? Right? The food chain is broken. The supply industry is broken. That's only going to get worse, man. Isaiah 19 verse 10, and they shall be broken in the purposes thereof, all that make sluices and ponds for fish. Let's look at this in the NLT, man. This goes into mental health. Didn't that CEO of Bed Bath and Beyond just jump off a building and kill himself? Isaiah 19 verse 10 in the NLT. They will be in despair, and all the workers will be sick at heart. Right? Heart being mind. Mental health. Let's look at it in the NIV. The workers in cloth will be dejected. The workers in the clothing industry, they'll be dejected. And all the wage earners, right, the workers, will be sick at heart, sick in their mind, mental health. And this is what's going on in America, the Great Babylon the Great. Mental health. Right, big heavy CEO crying how ye rich man jumped off a building. Because the stocks took a dip, they're selling off stocks and assets. He jumped off a building. Right? People are losing their mind, out of job. They can't make bills meet. That's mental health. This corporate giant FedEx, a shortage of workers. They're small contractors who once were making money. They're not making money no more. This guy here has a fleet of 225 trucks. We were reading it. Right? We were reading it. He's in charge of 225 trucks. $275 delivery trucks on Salakia, and has 225 employees, right? And as this situation with FedEx compounds and gets worse, mental health gonna set in. Isaiah 19 verse 11. Surely the princes of Zone are fools. These politicians, America the Great, Babylon the Great, the politicians are fools. The council of wise counselors of Pharaoh is become brutish, right? The handlers of all these politicians is become brutish. Let's look at this word, brutish. Right? Listen, that Sleepy Joe, he doesn't do an interview without his handlers in his ear, man. I was reading that he hasn't done a face-to-face sit-down in 200 something odd days. Brutish in the Hebrew.
Strong's H 1197. Ba'er.
Ba'er. To burn, consume, kindle, be kindled. To begin to burn, be kindled, start burning, to burn, consume, to kindle, to consume, remove, figuratively, of guilt, figuratively, to kindle, burn up, consume, destroy, to burn, to be stupid, brutish, barbarous, stupid, dull-hearted, unreceptive, to be stupid, dull-hearted, right? So these counselors of these politicians are becoming unreceptive, dull-hearted, stupid, right? Let's continue. How say ye unto Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of ancient kings. Verse 12. Where are they? Where are thy wise men? And let them tell thee now, and let them know that Yahweh of hosts hath purpose upon Egypt. Right? And what is the purpose of Yahweh B'Shem El Shai on Egypt, America the Great, Babylon the Great, spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom? Destruction, man. So it's an NLT. Isaiah 19 verse 12. NLT. Where are your wise counselors, Pharaoh? Let them tell you what the Most High plans. What the Most High of Heaven's armies is going to do to Egypt. Right? The water Yahweh B'Shem El Shai B'Shem Rakak Kodash. And who? Who's blown the trumpet? Who's denouncing America the Great, Babylon the Great? The prophets, man. Right? The devil is moving quickly. He knows he has but a short time. Verse 13. The princes of Zon are become fools. The princes of Noph are deceived. Once again, these politicians, these rulers, they have also seduced Egypt, even they that are the stay of the tribes there. Right. And how do they seduce the citizens of America the Great, Babylon the Great? With their enchantments, their lies, their tell lie vision, their media. Verse 14. The Lord Yahweh hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Right. And what is the perverse spirit that is mingled amongst America the Great, Babylon the Great? Their alphabet boys, their alphabet boy lifestyle, their moles, right? Heavy vibration in America the Great, Babylon the Great. America the Great, Babylon the Great is spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom, according to Scripture. Let's get that, and we'll come back here, right? Revelation 11, verse 8. Revelation 11, verse 8, and it reads, and their dead bodies shall lie in the strait of the great city. Dead bodies of who? Israelites. Israel being a people for a place. So-called indigenous, so-called Latino, so-called Negro. Right? Dead bodies symbolic of dead from the neck up. No knowledge, no wisdom, no understanding. Not knowing who they are. Discontinued from their heritage. The great city being America, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. Right? America the Great is called spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt. Spiritual Sodom for the alphabet boy lifestyle, the moles. Egypt for the idols and the bondage. Mizraim means house of bondage. Egypt means, the Hebrew word for Egypt is Mizraim, meaning house of bondage, captivity, slavery, their idols. Where also our Lord was crucified, right? Where they crossed out Yahweh Shai, crossed him out and put up an image of Caesar Borgia, crossed him out and deceived the whole world. Right? Let's go back into Isaiah 19, verse 15. And it reads, neither shall there be any work for Egypt. Right? There's no work for America, and it's going to get worse, man. Which the head or tail, all levels of this thing, man. Bosses, supervisors, grunt workers. Branch or rush may do. All levels going to be affected by this thing, man. And it's going to get worse. Right? This ain't done. This is just the beginning. Right? And FedEx is a big company, man. You see me? Huge company. Let's go to Ecclesiastes. We'll close out just now, Lord willing. Ecclesiastes 12, verse 3. And it reads, In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, right? The keepers of the house, these financial advisors, these stock market watchers, right? They're trembling because they see this crash coming. And the strong men shall bow themselves, the strong men being the middle class, those that have it, right? Because where this is going, there's going to be two classes of people. The elites, who are the haves, and the have-nots. Right? That there's going to be no such thing as a middle class. The middle class is going to be rubbing shoulders with have-not, the current have-nots soon time come. Rubbing shoulders in bread lines. A time like no other. All hell about to break loose out here. Middle class ain't ready for suffering. Most middle class Babylonians, most middle class been getting it 3, 4, 5, 6 generations deep. Edomites, cottages that been handed down, and boats and bricks and mortar that been handed down. They're about to go through it. What do you think a man, you don't know, we don't know if he's an Edomite or not, but what do you think a man with 275 delivery trucks and 225 employees is going to do when this thing collapses? Right? A CEO jumped off a building last week, man. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 3. Once again, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. Grinders being workers, cease. Few workers, few jobs. And those that look out of the windows be darkened, right? Looking out the windows, the future, looking into the future. What's my 2-year plan, my 1-year plan? Where am I going to be in 6 months? Third quarter, first quarter, second quarter. It all looks dark, right? It all looks dark. And the Most High is not playing. The Most High is visiting this place. Zechariah 8. Zechariah 8 verse 10. For before these days there was no hire for man, nor any hire for beasts. Neither was there any peace to him that went out or came in because of the affliction. For I set all men, every one against his neighbor. Right? And this is what's coming to the streets of America, the great Babylon the Great. Let's look at this in the NLT. Zechariah 8 verse 10 in the NLT. Before the work on the temple began, there were no jobs and no money to hire people or animals. No traveler was safe from the enemy, for there were enemies on all sides. I had turned everyone against each other. Right? And this is what's coming to America the Great. No jobs, no hire. People gonna turn on each other. NIV. Before that time, there were no wages for people or hire for animals. No one could go about their business safely because of their enemies, since I had turned everyone against their neighbor. Right, and this is the environment vibration coming to the streets of America the Great, Babylon the Great. Right, let's close. It's gonna be no joke out here, man. All hell about to break loose. Zephaniah 2 verse 3, close out. Seek ye Yahweh, all ye meek of the earth. Right? Seek ye Yahweh. Seek ye the Lord Yahweh, all ye meek of the earth. Who are the meek? Israelites. Israel being a people before a place. So-called indigenous, so-called Latino, so-called Negro, and speckled bird. Those whose bloodline goes back to Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob, but they look like the other nations. Right? Beginning with the elect. Because it's only the elect going to seek out the Lord before these times come. Because when these times are happening in real time, it's going to be too late. Which have wrought his judgment, right? The Israelites are under the curses, wrought his judgment. Right? Deuteronomy 28 verse 1 through 15 is the blessings. Deuteronomy 28 verse 15 through 68 are the curses. We are under the curses, Israelites. Israel being a people. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord Yahweh's anger. Right? Seek the Lord while he may be found. Because the Lord's anger, the Lord's about to visit this place. It's been turning up. It's about to turn up more and more. Right? And if you're not of the hopeful elect, Lord willing, we're of that number, the hopeful elect. Right? You have no covering out here. Free reign to be judged out here. Sword, famine, pestilence, Gurkha troop, FEMA camp, grain of rice. Ultimately, all this is leading to the grain of rice. This collapse. These elites are going to turn around and say, okay, we're going to go automation and we're going to put UBI on the masses. And what's that UBI going to turn into? Revelation 13 verse 16 on down. You want to continue your UBI? Take this grain of rice. Stay prayed up. Pray without ceasing. I pray you're edified. Shalom to the hopeful elect.